We're going to try Three Sons Brewing Company. It's called Ocean Park Pils, brewed out of Dania Beach, Florida. Dania Beach is located a little bit south of Fort Lauderdale, a little bit north of Hollywood, Florida. And we're going to compare that to Czechvar from the Czech Republic. In the Czech Republic, this is called the Budweiser or Budweiser. And there's a trademark dispute going on, or I don't know if it's been settled or not. I think it's been settled between the Czech Budweiser and American Budweiser, where they can't sell the Czechvar or Czech Budweiser over here in the U.S. under the name Budweiser. And American Budweiser in Europe, in most places in Europe, is not called Budweiser, but called Bud. Now, it's pretty commonly accepted that American beer sucks compared to European beer, and I like to put that to the test. I know this is a good beer. However, most American beers that people say suck are the mass-produced beers. So that's why I got a craft beer, a microbrewery, Three Sons Brewing Company, Ocean Park Pils, and we're going to compare that against one of Europe's best, in my opinion, and we'll see how it stacks up. Because American beer doesn't necessarily suck. You just have to get a microbrewery beer, or I don't know if there are any good mass-produced beers. Miller Coors and Budweiser are all not that great. And there is a noticeable difference between those beers and European beers. Believe it or not, some places in Europe produce an American adjunct lager. Italy's Peroni is an adjunct lager, I believe. I could be wrong. I'll have to double check that. But anyway, let's get down to it. We'll see which one tastes better now. The Czech Budweiser is a little bit darker. I will be able to tell which one is which. So I'll mix these up, and I will keep my eyes closed as I sip these to see which one I think tastes better. Now keep in mind, the Czech Budweiser, or Czech Budweiser, is one of my favorite beers. And I wanted to put the craft beer, the American craft beer, up against what I would consider a good European beer, a good European lager. So here we go. Now, that's good. That's good beer. It's probably Czech Budweiser. It's a well-balanced beer. A little bit hoppy up front, a nice malty finish, great balance. That's why it's one of my favorites. But I could be wrong. This could be Three Sons. This beer is hoppy. Almost a citrusy hoppiness to it. Now, you might be thinking, well, you're comparing a Pilsner to a lager. And yeah, Pilsners and lagers are different, but they're very close. In fact, the very first beer of this style was brewed in Pilsen, Bohemia, Czech Republic, which is where the Pilsner got its name, Pilsner. And it was the first light lager. And it became very popular and got brewed all over the world. But in Germany, they call them lagers and stuff. Although in Germany, you can buy a German-style Pilsner. It's good beer, hoppy up front, very hoppy, but it doesn't have a malt finish at the end that this one has. Well, I was right. This is the Budweiser. And which one do I like better? I could drink this anytime. But this one, you know how some IPAs are really citrusy. This has kind of got that citrusy, upfront, hoppy flavor to it. I'm going with this one. So again, the Europeans have beat the Americans when it comes to beer, in my opinion. See, the hoppiness, that citrusy, hoppy, upfront taste is a little bit too strong. I would think they need to make it a little bit less citrusy. Other than that, it's not bad. I don't know if I would like drinking a 6-pack of this, because I think I would kind of get tired of that hoppiness. But it's all right. And that's why I chose this one. Because I could drink this one anytime, anywhere. And I can drink one after another and not get tired of it. Whereas this one, I think I could get tired of it after a while. But you can't beat this one. You can't beat the Czechvar. Oh, by the way, this is a 5% ABV. I'm not sure what it's rated on Beer Advocate or any other sites. But this one's rated pretty good. This one I think is also 5% or maybe 5.1. Nope, it says right here on the can, 5%. But I'll tell you, if you do a blind taste test between this and American Budweiser, it's a night and day. It's a night and day difference. American Budweiser doesn't hold a candle to the Czech Budweiser. The town that this is brewed in the German language is called Budweis, which is where it gets its name. But in the Czech language, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's a Budějovice. I can't even remember how it's spelled. But anyway. Oh, by the way, this is owned by the Czech government. And I believe that the reason that the Czech government has acquired ownership of this beer is because they didn't want it being bought out by somebody like InBev. InBev buys a lot of beer, a lot of breweries in Europe, and if they would have bought this brewery, surely they would have changed the name from Budweiser to something else. So it's a good thing that the Czech government owns this. They're protecting it. At least that's what I've heard. And so you take that with a grain of salt. Anyway, you should be able to look it up if you want to investigate it. But it's a good thing, in my opinion. Because then there would be probably only one Budweiser, the American Budweiser, named after a town in the Czech Republic, and this is from that town, so it should have its name. The town of Budweis, and since it's from Budweis, it's Budweiser. It's It's a good beer. If you haven't tried this, I recommend it, highly recommend it. I just don't get tired of drinking that. Kind of got a lemongrass flavor to it. Well, I don't know if it's lemongrass, but it's definitely quite citrusy up front. Not as citrusy as some IPAs, but definitely more citrusy, hoppy citrusy that you get out of your typical lager or pilsner. Well, and that's the difference between the pilsner style and the lager style, is they use different hops in pilsners, and pilsners are typically a bit more hoppy than lagers. So this is a pilsner, so that might explain why it's more hoppy. I should have compared this against the German Paulaner Pils. And the Paulaner Pils is one of my favorite German pilsners. You know Paulaner from München. It's one of the 6 breweries in that can sell beer at the Oktoberfest or Wiesn. Anyway, probably would have been a better comparison to do this against the Paulaner Pils, but I think I would have liked the Paulaner Pils better as well, because it is not quite as citrusy as this one. I don't really have a problem with this other than that. It's just got that upfront. I think I'm turning into Joe Biden here, losing my train of thought. It's got that upfront hoppy, citrusy hit, but it is hard to quantify or qualify what type of citrusy flavor this is. Lemon, maybe grapefruit. I don't know, but there is citrusiness to it. But it's really hoppy. Well, not really hoppy, but hoppier than most lagers. Hoppier than what I was expecting. Well, I'm rambling on, so that's it. I'll give this one to Czechvar or Budweise. No, it's also called Budvar in Czech. Is the name of the brewery. Budvar. It's called in Czech. It's called Budvar Budweiser Original Lager or something like that. They also make a dark version of it too. Budweiser. What's the word for dark in Czech? I can't remember. But you could get a dark version of this, which is good. I've had it, but I like this one. So that's it. Just for shits and giggles, sometimes I like to mix the 2 beers that I'm comparing, just to see how that tastes. So here goes the Budweiser or the Budweise into the Three Sons Ocean Park Pils. And let's see how this turns out. I can still taste hints of that hoppiness. I like them. Well, I like the Czechvar better than the mixture. Because I think this kind of overwhelms it. I think I taste more of this than I do of that. So, but anyways, this has been the strength of the flavor has been reduced, obviously. But I think it's a bit of an improvement over this, although I'm not really sure, because this had a unique flavor, and now the uniqueness is gone, but some of the hoppiness, that upfront hoppiness, is still there, or at least reduced. You can still taste it. So, I don't know if I would drink a mixture of the two, or if I'd rather have this. I'd probably just rather go for this. But this is just subjective and how I feel at the moment. So it depends, as I said in my other beer comparison videos. It's subjective, and it all depends on my mood. But I'll tell you one thing about my mood. Regardless of my mood, I can still always go for this. And another one, Hofbräu Original Lager from München. So this is another one of my favorites. Another good one is from France, Kronenbourg 1664. That has done very well. From Spain, we have Estrella Galicia, which is a good one. And, well, I did use those beers in other comparison videos. And one beer that I would like to compare that I haven't been able to find very often is Birra Moretti from Italy. And I found that, oddly enough, in a liquor store. But it's not in my liquor stores. I have to go travel to get it. But Birra Moretti is not bad. It's actually pretty good. It's much better than Peroni, which I think sucks. So I'm going to have to do a comparison of Birra Moretti against maybe Czechvar or Hofbräu or something else. Anyway, thanks again.